Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 9 a.m. and you are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. And we have your Aurora weather coming from the National Weather Service of Chicago, as always, delivered to you here on Aurora Weather on the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Monday. We back. Let's get into it, chop up this weather, and get going. Let you guys know what's happening out there. Today, daytime high of 74 degrees with a daytime low of 68 degrees. We can expect a breezy day today with scattered evening thunderstorms. Now, those scattered evening thunderstorms, boop, boop, check it out. 53 degrees for the nighttime high, 49 degrees for the nighttime low. Now, Curtis, or I know what you're saying, hey, Curtis, wait a minute. Are we going to get cooler in the nighttime? We are. Those evening showers and storms transition us tomorrow into a daytime high of 72 degrees with a daytime low of 67 degrees. Now, you can also see that there's a high swim risk if you are by Lake Michigan. Be careful and be aware of that. Tomorrow night, 50 degrees for the nighttime high, 42 degrees for the nighttime low. A chilly night tomorrow night. That chilly night takes us into Thursday, though. Look at that. 74 degrees once again, 68 degrees for the daytime low. 68 and 74 today and Thursday. A sunny day on Thursday. That sunny day takes us into the evening time. Once again, a chilly night, 51 degrees for the nighttime high, 43 degrees for the nighttime low. Now, as we get into Friday, what do we notice? Don't get crazy. 77 degrees for the daytime high, 75 degrees for the daytime low. Now, it's going to be a little cloudy. That won't stop the barbecue. Friday night, look at that, 57 degrees for the nighttime high, 53 degrees for the nighttime low. Now, there is a 20 to 30% chance of rain Friday night. That chance takes us into what looks to be a definitive day for storms on Saturday, 78 degrees for the daytime high, 76 degrees for the daytime low, 30 to 40% chance of thunderstorms. That 30 to 40% chance of thunderstorms transitions us into Saturday night. Now check it out. 57 degrees for the nighttime high, 53 degrees for the nighttime low, and a negative 20% chance of rain. Now, I never in my life heard a negative 20% chance of rain. That makes me think that it's just not going to rain. But we never know what he got in plan, right? Let's recap. Today, daytime high 74 degrees. Daytime low 68 degrees. Tomorrow, daytime high of 72, a daytime low of 67 degrees. Thursday, 74 degrees for the daytime high, 68 degrees for the daytime low. Now Friday, check it out. Don't get crazy. 77 degrees for the daytime high, 75 degrees for the daytime low. And on Saturday, 78 degrees for the daytime high, 76 degrees for the daytime low. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a great show for you guys today. We have Kendall Nesbitt and Deshaun Jones here to talk about music, a conference, life skills, and so much more. Get ready for a great show. Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 9:04 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. I told you during the weather that we had a fantastic interview and episode for you today. I did not fib. Our guests today are Deshaun Jones and Kendall Nesbitt, here to talk about many things, brothers, many things. Shout out LITE, Leaders in Transformational Education, a conference, a music program, and so much more. Good to have you guys on the show, man.
Likewise,
Absolutely.
good to be here.
Thank you for having us.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So let's start off with a few intros. Deshaun, take a moment to talk about yourself, who you are, and your involvement in this program. Then we're going to pass it to Kendall.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, first of all, good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora.
That's right. Got to say it 3
Yes.
times. Like Candyman, but positive, you know.
Very much so. Yeah, so like you said, my name is Deshaun Jones. I am the program supervisor over at Leaders in Transformational Education, LITE for short, because we are trying to bring all things light into the community. Just a little bit of background on me. Born and raised in the city of Chicago on the west side. Going into college, I graduated undergrad from Northern Illinois University. Go Huskies. And then I did my master's program over at Clark Atlanta University. Shout out to all the HBCUs. And just been in nonprofit space and youth development for, I would say, maybe about 7-8 years now, and really doing a lot of work with youth. Very passionate about kind of helping young people figure out what it is they want to do with their life and then actually make those dreams come true. And so LITE has just been a great avenue for doing that and giving back to the community. So just so excited to be here and excited to, continue to help the community.
Glad to have you, brother. Glad to have you, Kendall.
Well, my name is Kendall Nesbitt, and I am born and raised in Chicago. He pulled in the West Side, so I have to tell it too. K-Town, West Side, born and raised.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Y'all
then
from the
moved
K?
From the K, yeah.
I used to stay on Maypole and Costner.
I know
Oh,
those
wow.
streets
Oh,
very
wow.
well.
Very
brothers,
well.
I didn't know.
You didn't know you had-
We home.
Family,
Okay.
Known all over the United States. They say, oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
K-Town. That's a
Yeah,
real thing.
absolutely.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
But I moved to Oak Park. My mom wanted better, so we moved to Oak Park, and which was almost an extension of the West Side. So a lot of people I grew up with they were at Oak Park. I been in the music industry for over 25 years, which is crazy to say. Just made 44 last week. So started young, right out of high school. Got an opportunity to work with a bunch of acts like R. Kelly, Jay-Z, Tyrese Gibson, Charlie Wilson, Kelly Price, Britney Spears, Jennifer Lopez, just to name a few. And it's been a pretty cool journey. Just been doing music, loving life and loving music. I think music is life. So it's just one of those things that I had a passion for it. I was in school, I was doing choir and band, and then I got the bug and I couldn't let it go. So
That's
I started
awesome.
pursuing it as a career or a
What's
profession.
what's just some of the benefits? Both of you guys can take this. What's just some of the benefits of the exposure to music for young people at an early, those formative ages, when it comes to the ability to play and take part? What kind of benefit can that give to a young person?
Yeah, I think Kendall's more musically inclined than I, so I'll let him answer and then piggyback a little bit.
I think music is life. We sort of spoke during the break, Curtis, about rhythm, timing, tone, working in harmony, working in concert. Just simple. I won't go into some of the technical stuff, but even understanding the theory, the analytical and the creative side of your brain. I think that's important to be exposed to it early on, if you do it as a profession or not, because there's so many life skills that you learn within music. Everything has a rhythm or a pacing. Public speaking, they talk about pacing, they talk about timing, and you learn those things in music. I was noticing, I was kind of marveling at when you were doing the weather, because you understood there was a timing, there was a mark, there was a place in a space that you needed to be in, and those things flow once you sort of understand that. And music just opens you up to getting some of the nuances and the technical aspect of that part.
Right. Well said. Now, the young people that you guys have met and mentored, let's talk about them a little bit. Where do they come from?
Yeah, so we are slated to serve youth from ages 16 to 24.
Okay.
And we do work in the Aurora area as well as all the way down to the Proviso Township and just a little bit of anything in between because we want to just help as many kids as we can, honestly. And so usually the youth are opportunity youth that may or may not be in school at the time and just looking for different career opportunities, looking for continued education and just trying to get help to really gain a footing in life. And so that's where it comes in, where we do kind of the life skills and the different programs with them, and kind of how Kendall just talked about with music, really being life, being able to kind of set that program up for the first time. A lot of the kids that really went in there, you can kind of see them transition from it being something super passionate that they wanted to do and being able to have somebody who's actually got the credentials, who's actually doing his thing, in that industry come in, help them and get their footing going and then take them to a actual recording studio, lay some tracks and do a finished product was just a full amazing experience to have with them. So it was really nice. But like I said, any youth from 16 to 24, if you would like to be a part of our program, we're always accepting registrations and just, anybody that's looking to, get more help in whatever it is as far as finding a career path or, just gaining life skills.
Here's what, so when I first saw this and kind of got familiar with the program, I've been familiar with LITE. Shout out to V and Sandra Harrison. For quite some time in the city. They've been doing good things for people. But when I saw this, I really liked it and appreciated it because as a producer, as a person who has, been immersed in the industry, you don't meet too many people who have the knowledge and then will come back and try to help people with it. There is a lack of people who are willing to do that. And when you find people who have the knowledge and will make it accessible to everybody else, that's to be celebrated. So, I do appreciate that because I think for so many young people, the TV and reality are two different things.
Absolutely, very much so.
Yeah. So, without getting too deep into it, like, what in your experience doing this, what is something that you didn't know going into it but made the difference?
Well, what I found out early on, and I'll kind of speak to what Deshaun started with, this program speaks to me personally because I was one of the kids that, I wasn't a straight A student. And while I did music, my story is sort of like Drumline. It's Nick Cannon. I didn't read music. Right. So they, my mom came in, we moved to Oak Park. She said, oh yeah, he's been playing drums. I was in church, but I played by ear. So they put me in a band, symphonic band, jazz band, and I was playing, and they were like, okay, you can play. And then I did the auditions where you form the chairs, like first chair, second chair, then I had to read this piece. I didn't know how to read it. And so I ended up learning how to read music in theory. But what I found is that with this particular program, I saw myself in it. And I had mentors. I had, big brothers, uncles. They were musicians, producers, and they pulled me in and shared the knowledge with me, so I wanted to share it too. What I found out in this program, which was enlightening, was, and I don't want to pull anybody out, but like two of my favorite students were Angel and this guy, Q. Angel is fully autistic, like fully certified, and he has a banger. His track is one of the better tracks. He's rapping on it. He's spitting all of this like enlightening and conscious lyrical content. And I was like, wow. So it's not your limitations or your labels don't really define what you can ultimately become.
That's
I
right.
didn't go to college, but I ended up, I'm Grammy nominated, and I teach on the college level. I teach at universities. I teach at high schools. And so it just, you just never know. I mean, your path is your path. And as long as you stick to it, it can ultimately turn out for you good.
Yeah, well said, because so many people in music, I mean, musicians and different artists, musical artists have fantastic stories. If I like a lot of times the interview a person gives will make me actually listen to them and like them and things like that. And you're finding people who are pursuing the talent and then making themselves accessible to receive that talent, like, changing themselves. Okay, what do I need to do to be better? What do I need to do to learn? So that's awesome. The time is 9:14 a.m. If you're just joining us, we are speaking with Deshaun Jones and Kendall Nesbitt, two great mentor and a music producer here on Good Morning Aurora. Daniel Calderon, good morning. Luz Elena, Ray DeHaan, Aisha Saxon, and Jimmy Clark, good morning to you guys. So let's talk about the conference that you guys were recently at, taking part in.
Yep, so very dynamic. This was our first ever conference, actually, and it really went well. So first, I just want to say thank you to all that participated and helped out, all of the different organizations, volunteers, the facilitators, our grantors, and everybody who really poured into the conference. So we wanted it to be very different than what, the typical conference was, because kind of how Kendall alluded to, just a little bit ago, sometimes you really never know what those talents are that you have. And so we wanted to be able to offer as much as we could in our 3 different pillars. So we serve youth under college and careers, health and wellness, and then arts and culture. And so when we were putting together the conference, we wanted to do about 100 youth. That was our target goal. We were able to successfully bring out about 75, I want to say. We're still kind of running that data, but we were able to offer them breakfast. We were able to offer them lunch. And then we had a very dynamic speaker come from, the WNBA, shout out to them, is, really getting big. And so the Chicago Sky team, Chicago Sky Cares, William Bernard came out and was our keynote speaker to kind of amp up the youth. And when we went into our getting the facilitators to really put together, what we're going to do for our dream shops in the conference, we were able to pull together a lot of different people. So we had some people from Ready Mix Concrete to come and talk to them about the concrete industry and, jobs in that form, and even putting together, showing them how the molds work and how to mix concrete. We had some health and wellness people come out to teach them about mindfulness and how to get your body and spirit right, connecting all of that. We had the Gouchard Gallery come out to do some painting and kind of putting together different dream boards, vision boards, and just a lot of dynamic professionals really talking to them about how to cultivate their skills, how to find what that dream is that's deep inside of them, and really pulling it out of them and being that interactive piece. And definitely Kendall, we had Kendall there as well, kind of stemming from our music program, to really showcase some of the music that they actually produced and to show the kids that this isn't something that has to take years and years, and if you are dedicated in it and you really want to do it, then we have the tools here with LITE, and can make it happen. And so it was really a pleasure to be able to have something very interactive, a little bit of something different from everybody. Some of the kids were super into the painting, some of them were super into the music, some were super into the career building aspects. And so I think that's what it's all about nowadays for the youth, is having a little bit of versatility for everybody.
I like that. I am curious too to see from you guys what kind of music are the youth making? What are we hearing?
So the styles range. It's amazing. I mean, we did like some alternative folky kind of stuff, some R&B, some hip hop.
Okay.
Pop, it was a range.
All right.
It was a really nice range.
Yeah. You can tell a lot about a person and their interests and their loves by what they produce when they get the chance.
Right. Right.
I mean, when people have the opportunity to create, pay attention to what they're creating.
Exactly.
That's what has kind of interested me. My first time in a studio was like making this show and the journey that we had. I always had daydreams about it.
Wow.
So when I got the chance, I started making what I wanted to hear and what I wanted to see, keeping in mind what other people would like in their thoughts and preferences. Right. So with the new crop of youngsters that we see making music and content, do you have any advice for them? I know you give lessons during the program, but if anybody's watching and thinking about making stuff, what would you tell them? And what do they get wrong about the industry you're making? Are there misconceptions?
Wow. Be true to yourself. Write life, write your experience. If it gives you goosebumps, then you're probably onto something.
Okay.
Don't get into it for the money. Like I did it, to your point, I had a little karaoke machine in the 90s, and I was just producing my own little radio show. And it was on a cassette tape. I still have the cassette tape. No, yeah, and I let my son, my oldest son, all the kids, they've heard it, and they're like, wow, this is crazy to hear you at 13 doing, like you got a radio show.
Right.
And I have music playing. I do this and I have guests and I'm mimicking the guests and all of that. And I never knew that it would become like a career, a long-standing. So just do it for the love. You do it for the passion. Serve. Be the change you want to see. And when you serve and you really, put yourself in that position fully, the success and the resources and the money will come. Don't go at it for the money piece or the fame or the fortune of it, because as we see, that could be short-lived. Or if you're caught up in that, you'll get caught up into the wrong things. Like, know your purpose, know your passion, and look at it from that angle first. And then I promise you, I'm a living witness that everything will come. But put first things first. Don't go at it for the money. Go at it to serve people, serve the community, use your gift, give yourself, and then everything else will fall into place.
Amen to that. The time is 9:21 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Kendall Nesbitt and Deshaun Jones are our guests. The west side of Chicago is a special place.
Get into it. Right.
Very much.
It's a special place. But it's got gems. And since we both have I grew up in Harvey, but I got family that stays on Maypole and Costner over there. We got there's a lot of beauty in that community.
Absolutely.
But what does the west side of Chicago need? Now that's an open-ended question, but we're three brothers here to talk about it.
Well, let me say this. I don't know that I would be who I am without the west side.
Absolutely.
If I'm being honest. Single mother, raised in the struggle. We weren't poor. It wasn't like welfare poor, but she was like right above the not poor, but it was tight, And so just, being an only child, kind of being able to get in my head and get in my space. And a lot of my friends and my peer group kind of we're dealing with the same thing. So we got into sports, we got into music, just to kind of escape our reality. So in that way, it was good. It gave us dedication, drive, focus, a goal to look forward to. I think in that, to your point, which I wish we can do a better job, these programs weren't available in the community.
Right.
And had they been, who knows, it could have turned some things around. Maybe some realities would have been different. Maybe it wouldn't have been a jail thing or a death or, gangs and drugs, because we all wanted to pursue it in different ways. We just didn't really have the resources to, manifest it and make it happen. So I think, with the West Side or in any other underserved community, if we can bring those resources to those communities, maybe we can, make change.
Right. And it means a lot, man, because when you have the ability to transplant yourself from somewhere other than where you're at the moment, that gives you that perspective to say, you know what, like, okay, I'm not defined by this.
Right. Yeah.
The world is way bigger than Maypole. Like, I'm not defined by this. Sure. I can do, or wherever, I can do other things.
That's right.
Yeah. I think that, like kind of to the point you made earlier, that when you go out, because everybody doesn't have, that go-getter spirit like right away. I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to, do something different than what, my family was doing. And so that motivated me to go. But like I said, I've been in the nonprofit space for a long time. And so going back and working with the youth, taking back the knowledge that I learned, like I remember, I have a minor in Black Studies, and so I didn't, know much about, my culture and, what my people had did and the history of it. And so once I learned it, I went back and I was teaching, the kids and everything. And so they were getting really excited about it, and they wanted to do different things. And so I think as we, continue to, better ourselves, we have to go back and really pour into those communities and, uplift them and make them want to, because like I said, they don't really know what's out there. And I think that's, one of the things I really enjoy about being a part of LITE is that, we take the experiences that we have and, train up our life coaches to make sure that they, have these different types of experiences so that we're not just, because right now, honestly, a lot of kids are not, pushing towards college as they was, a couple of years ago. And so we want to make sure we're pushing trades or or, you know, looking at to say, you know, really get to know them and, you know, what do you want to do for a career? Because, you know, maybe, you know, college isn't the path that you can go, or you could do a different path, or, you know, maybe a few classes may actually help. You know, a business class ain't never hurt nobody, you know. So
that's a fact.
You know, just making sure that we bring in, you know, different opportunities and different things to, you know, back to the community.
Jovita Marcela Calderon, good morning to you. Glads Tapin, good morning. Corey Ingram, Chingao, and Medea Banuelos. Michael Gooch as well. Good morning. Oh, it's deep in the chat. How y'all doing? Yeah. Okay, the time is 9:25. We're going to start bringing the plane towards the tarmac. But you know, how can we help you? How can we and the listeners help you guys?
Exposure.
Okay.
Getting the word out. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I 100% agree with Kendall. Just exposure. So if you don't have any youth that's 16 to 24, you know, tell a friend, you know, talk to the schools. We're definitely out, you know, trying to help as best as we can. We'll share our social media and our website, you know, all of our contact with everyone. But a really great program, because the thing about LITE that really sets us apart and makes us different from everybody else is that we really have the ability to kind of create any programming that we want to do, actually. So right now we're looking at, you know, talking to people in the hospitality industry about, you know, different jobs and things of nature that's going on in there, and creating that program, you know, really from scratch, kind of how we did with the music program. And so it's a really good opportunity, you know, to continue to pour in. If people ever want to volunteer, people ever want to donate, people ever want to get involved, we're always looking to connect with the community as much as we can. So exposure. If we don't talk about it, then nobody will know.
Yeah. And I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Go ahead, brother.
I'm in the community. I live 22 minutes away. I'm in the Plainfield area. So it took me literally 22 minutes to get here. I'm on the west side. I'm on the south side. I'm all over. So we're accessible. Kendall Nesbitt on all media, you know, social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever.
We appreciate that. So as you guys know, Cotton Seed Creative Exchange are dear friends of ours. They had, which I believe was the inaugural start of the program at the Cotton Seed. Get ready to see more information from these two gentlemen on our platform. Let's look forward to let's see what we can do about a part 2. We can come on out. Yvonne and her husband Steve and I had talked. I had a prior engagement that first night y'all did this. I plan on coming back with the camera when y'all do this again, but we can chop it up. The last thing I'll say is, you know why this is a good episode? A lot of you who've been listening to this show know that, much to what Kendall was talking about, there's one man who, when I was a kid, he was everything. Herb Kent. Herb Kent was the person who I thought, man, if I could be like Herb Kent, maybe my surroundings could be more than Harvey, Illinois.
Wow.
Maybe I could do more. It took a while, but we did it. So with that being said, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all coming on the show, man.
Yeah,
likewise.
Much love, brothers. Much love. Y'all are really good brothers,
Thank
man.
you, sir. Thank you.
We're gonna talk after this, and we got more to come and more to show these people. Right now, we're gonna go to a commercial, and then Buenos Dias, Aurora, the second largest city's first bilingual news podcast, is going to begin. And as you know, it is Tuesday, martes, so that means Noticias con Mireya. Y'all like Curtis rolling them R's much better. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Have a good rest of the day. Stay tuned for Buenos Dias, Aurora.
Peace and love.
Imagine what's possible when a city makes an unprecedented investment. A commitment that reshapes a city's landscape forever. That equalizes economic opportunity, elevates education for all, empowers businesses, inspires collaboration between institutions, improves public services, and enhances the lives of every resident. Now, imagine that city is ours. We know it's possible because other cities have done it. Places like Longmont, Colorado, a community that leveraged its investment in municipal electricity and upgraded its substations to create a 17-mile fiber loop, delivering critical connectivity to the city's institutions, organizations, and small businesses. achieving an incredibly high adoption rate. And in Pharr, Texas, a border town of 80,000, voted the least connected city in America, invested in 700 miles of fiber, delivering broadband managed services that are enriching residents' lives. Cities, towns, and regions are stepping up all over America. There is no question that Aurora can and deserves to be America's next great smart city. But it's up to us. We have a responsibility we can't ignore to see everyone living in our city, regardless of economic status, having broadband services that are simple, efficient, safe, and powerful. Imagine children having safe internet access anywhere, never needing to connect outside of a fast food restaurant. Imagine every building in every neighborhood and retail outlet, new and old, modernized, intuitive, secure. Imagine exciting subscribers with the ultimate broadband experience and giving parents control over all of it. Imagine deploying cyberbullying protection that notifies parents throughout Aurora that their kids are being bullied and providing resources to protect them. Imagine a city with first responders seamlessly connected and with safer public spaces. Can you see this smart city? Can you see our future? We do. Aurora is ready for world-class connection that serves our residents, that helps businesses grow and unifies our community. Let's take this opportunity to give all of our residents, businesses, and community organizations the advantages that come with unrivaled broadband infrastructure and services. Let's come together and deliver a world where digital equity creates a city that is smarter, safer, and sustainable for generations to come.
Not your bank's top priority? Here at Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. No hidden fees or runarounds, but a true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. Whether you're opening your first account, found your dream home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have the financial solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank. Wintrust, different approach, better results.